Okay, so we got a game here, and we have added some stuff to the bubble, some nice graphics. That's really good. But we're looking to add a couple things. We're looking to add health for the bubbles, health for the player, and maybe a bonus item. Or maybe we'll leave the bonus item for another thing. First, let's do health for the player because you notice actually nothing happens if I get hit. So we should probably fix that first before we do health for the bubble. So we notice we have player X, player Y, and player speed, but we do not have player health. So let's give player health, and let's make it 10. Okay, and notice that I can set something to 10 up here. Usually we set things in setup, and that's because if we do like a load, it can't happen up here. Like you see this load image, it cannot happen up here. But simple integers like 10, we can do up here. It just cleans up our code. So we've set the health to 10, and if I want, I can tell the user its health, and I'll show you if we go down to the bottom of a draw, right under level, let's tell the user their health. And we'll say player health. I think my usual standard is small at first and then big on the second word. Let's hope I did that. And let's see. No, I didn't. Uncaught reference player health is not defined. That's because when I defined player health, I didn't follow my standard of a small and low. Let's go see. What did I do? Player capital. Yeah. Good to have a standard. Okay, player health is 10. Okay, so I can move the X and Y. Actually, I'm going to move it over here. So let's say top right, because it's just a little bit better. So let's move. Obviously for marks, it's better for you to, really make things look tight. So play with these numbers and make sure they look good. 400 maybe? Should be the width. Yeah, right here. It's got to be maybe 500, right? So we see it. And it should be a little bit up. So maybe 30. I also would change the color. I don't know that white on this thing looks really good. But I'll let the student do that. Health 10. I'm going to show you one other trick. We are saying health, and then we draw the what's it called, the number, but actually health is usually done as a rectangle. So let's just say health and not type the number, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to go rect, and we're going to go X comma Y. So we know that it's going to be at about 400 comma 30, right? But we actually want its X to be to the right a little bit, so maybe 450. So that's it. We want a rectangle to appear right to the side of the word health. And what's its width going to be? Well, its width is going to be player health. Okay, and its Y is just going to be a standard Y. So what happens is the rectangle will shrink as you lose health. And that's how people do a health bar. Reference aid, player health is not defined. Again, I didn't do a capital. Okay, now obviously I did it the wrong direction, right? So X, Y, width, height. I would have thought it would be width, height, but apparently it's not. It's height, width. That'll make no sense. Really? Wow, that's interesting. Okay, and so later on when we get hit, that's going to shrink. So let's make sure it does shrink. How do we shrink? Well, the same way we check to see if we collide with the laser, we're going to check to see if the bubble collides with the player. So because there's more than one bubble, it needs to be in the for loop that checks every bubble. Okay? If it's something that doesn't involve the bubble, it shouldn't be in this for loop. This says for every bubble, get that bubble, call it B, move that bubble, moving every bubble, draw that bubble, drawing every bubble, and then on and on. And so I actually see right here that the score shouldn't be in this for loop because it's drawing it. You don't notice it because it draws it more, but it's wasting resources. So the score should actually be down here after the for loop. Okay? Nothing changes, but now the thing runs a little bit better. If it was something else that was in the for loop, it might actually cause a problem and you'd be a little confused about it, okay? So we're in the for loop. Let's do another if. It's going to be almost exactly the same. Only only the collides with is not going to be on the laser in the bubble, it's going to be on the player in the bubble. So I want player X, I want player Y, and does the player have a width and a height? Player X, player Y. Notice the player doesn't have a width and a height, which is okay, but it does in the game. So notice it's 90 and 70. Okay? And so what happens is we might as well do it. Player width equals 90. Player height equals 70. Okay? And that way we can just reference it. We don't have to remember those numbers. And we can make bonuses to make them bigger and smaller. Notice I'm capitaling because I have a standard, and that way I don't screw myself up. Plus, it's actually the Java standard is to do it like that. So where were we? We were in the draw. We were in the for loop, right? And we were doing a collides with, and we were going to go player width, capital W, player height.
For player Y2.
Excuse me, for Y and X too? Okay, now let's go down before we hit play. Where we draw the player. Where do we draw the player? It's got to be in draw. It's an image. Okay, it's see 90 and 70, but now we can do player width, player height. Haven't changed very much yet. And I'm just going to make sure the collides width is X, Y, width, height, right? And that's what it says. If this will tell you if object 1, given its X, Y, width, and height, hits object 2, given its object width and height, X, Y, width, and height. So I'm sure I'm going to get an error now. Oh, no, I don't, eh? Okay, so no error. That's nice. Nothing's happening because I don't think I have anything in that if statement. But let's see. If collides with bubble, yeah, looks like it goes. Player health equals player health minus 1. Oh, so funny. That's funny the way it's drawn. It's affecting the Y. Minus 1. Yeah, crazy. That's funny about the way that I drew it. There's something I'm not getting about the rectangle. Let's go back to where I was drawing the rectangle because it was affecting the length of it. Oh, I get it, because it is X, Y, width, height. Remember I said X, Y, width, height? It is, and I didn't appear that way. The problem is that the health is so small. The health is only 10, so of course it doesn't appear the way that I was thinking it was going to appear. It appears that the health bar is the wrong way, but the reason that's happening is because the health is so small. So let's times it by 10. Okay, and then let's make this maybe 20, and we'll see that it does look like a health bar should look like. Okay, the other thing that we'll probably do is we probably should add 1 because it should never be 0. Because a rectangle of 0 width doesn't make sense. So we'll always add at least 1 to it. The other thing is, and I don't have an immediate solution about it. I'm trying to think. Usually when something hits, we move it, but the bubble is going to hit us multiple times. If you notice this, you notice it hit like 10 times there, right? And that's why it's going reverse. So one thing that we can do is, I don't have an immediate solution. Maybe if we think about it, we can. I could move the bubble out of the way, right? So let's say maybe we'll go b dot y equals, that would just make us hit us again. If I just raise it, it's going to hit us again. Actually, let's make it bounce off of us. So how does the bubble bounce? The bubble bounces when it hits the ground right here. You get that? So I'm just going to take that formula. I'm wondering why there's not a semicolon there. That's strange. I'm going to take that formula and I'm going to put it right here. Let it bounce off of me. Okay? And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want it to hit me again. Right? It's hit me once, bounce off of my head. And then maybe even like, let's make sure b dot y is going to be player y minus 5. Okay, so what that means is if you've hit me, first off, get away from me because I don't want to hit you again. Go above me and turn around. You've bounced off my head. Okay, and set your gravity. Okay, this is optional. There must be other ways to do it. Like there's also maybe a timer. Like if you've hit me in the last 3 seconds, you're not allowed to hit me again. Right? We could probably do that. But this is probably an easier way just for this tutorial to see. Let's see if it works. Oh, it does work, but it kind of locks me. Yeah, let's keep going. How did it lock? That's weird. B, not y, equals. Here, maybe there's a bug here. Okay, it didn't need that, but I kind of like. Huh. It's bouncing off my head. It's almost like you could make a soccer game like this, eh? But so you see that now it's a little bit more fairer. Oh, I get it. P dot y equals player y minus 5. That should have worked. Maybe there's something special about the way that you did player y. Okay, it worked. Maybe minus 5 wasn't enough. Oh, yeah, I get it now, because it's the minus 20. It had to be a bit more. It has to actually be, it depends on how big the bubble is, right? So minus b dot height. I gotta move you above me, but it's the bottom of you that hits me, not the top of you. Not your y, but the bottom. So I've gotta subtract my y, subtract the bubble's y, set the bubble's y to my y, minus the bubble's height, and then minus another 5. Okay, so depending on the bubble size, where I've got to move you changes you. If you're a really big bubble, I've got to move you even higher, right? And that's why we need bubble's height in that. Anyways, this will work. Okay, so now we made it. That's weird. It's like we disappeared it. Be a player y. Strange that 20 worked. Okay, we'll leave it at 20 now, and I'll get you to play with the values, but maybe we'll make another video about how. Okay, so it works. I kind of like that. So now we're going to do bubble health. Bubble health is pretty tough, though. So, not tough to do, but tough in the game to imagine a bubble's health. So let's go. It's nice to have different ideas. So anyways, this dot health equals 1. Awesome. So if you decided that in level 1 there will only, like, bubbles will only have 1 health, but in level 2 they'll be stronger? Yeah. Okay. So let's say in your level 2, do you have a check level?
Yeah.
Where's your check level? Awesome. Check level. Let's say in level 2 we would say we'd say these bubbles b dot health equals 2, right? So actually before this thing splits I gotta hit it twice. Okay, these bubbles are really hard to hit, and what would be cool is if we change the way they drew, right? And so we could actually, in the bubbles draw, I'm not going to do it though, I'll let you do it. In the bubbles draw, we could say, like, change the way it's drawn, because the user needs to know that, like, why isn't this bubble popping? Oh, it's a special bubble, that's why. So you would go to the bubble class, which is, oh, it's actually in display. So bubble class, you'd go in bubble display here, and you might say if this dot health, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it right. If this dot health is equal to 1, then draw this kind of bubble, right? And if it's equal to 2, draw a different type of bubble, right? And so it would be red, and then you hit it, it turns blue. So actually, let's do it.
And would it be health or would it be the level?
No, it'd be the health, because each bubble has its own health. Yeah, that's right. Now, I don't have a second image, so instead, I'm going to draw an ellipse. Or let's just do a rect. Okay, so it draws one thing if health is equal to 2. It draws another thing if health is equal to 1. And this would likely be an image, okay, that you'd load. Okay. Let's just see. Let's get to level 2 and see. So I should see a rectangle actually if I've done that right. We got to do something with the physics in this game because the bouncing is a little bit too much. Okay, so do you see that? So cool. So the bubble. Oh, something's weird though. Yeah. Okay. So those bubbles have a health of 2. Do you see that? But no one's actually changing their health of 2. So why is that? Because when we hit the bubble, when we split the bubble, we say if you hit a bubble, increase the score. If the size is bigger than 20, split it. Otherwise, pop it. But bubble health actually changes this logic. You don't split unless your health is is 1 or 0. You get what I mean? So I got to hit you once before you split. These are special bubbles. Okay? So then what we would need to do is wrap this whole if. Fine, I hit you. But if b.health is greater than 0, right? Then none of this is going to happen. We're just going to make b.health equals b.health minus 1. Sorry, you got to hit me again. And then this all becomes in an else statement, right? And then this goes in that else, and wow, we're going. Okay, so it's, at some point it becomes really important to tab out your things to say, well, this is called the health thing. This says health of bubble. So if the bubble is a healthy bubble, then nothing happens, and we reduce it. This one is if we hit the bubble. There's a lot of logic here. We might say 1 because actually all bubbles had a health of 1. It's only usually you do 0, but in your code it seems like all the bubbles are a health of 1. So we'll say if you have a health of 2, you've got to be done in. So greater than or equal to 1. No, greater than 1. Okay, so let's see if we can get to level 2. Okay, you see those bubbles there? Awesome. They are square. If I hit them, their health should reduce, and then they should turn into an apple. And they did. Okay? So that works. The only other thing is, and maybe we'll share the code later, is the way that they bounce off like that hit. It depends on the size, eh? So I'll see if I can fix that, and we'll do that. I'll just post the code for it. Okay?